Welcome back. Glad to see you. Today we are solving systems of equations by substitution. This is honestly my least favorite method, but it's important to know, and so you need to know it. All right, here we go. We're gonna start with this equation here on the left. This one is set up in a great substitution way. Okay, so we already have y equals something or x equals something. That's when you really want to use substitution. For this one, I wouldn't choose to use substitution, but we're going to because I'm going to teach you that method. For this one though, you could very easily choose substitution because it's already set up in such a way it has y equals on it. So here we go. Substitution method says exactly that. You substitute what the variable is, so what it is equal to, and you plug that whole thing into that same variable in the next equation. So y is negative x plus 10, and you do this so that you can have one variable and get an answer. Otherwise, you're just spinning in circles. So we have 2x minus what y is. Well, what is y? Y is negative x plus 10, and we'll do it like that, and that equals 5. So you see, I'm taking this value right here, and I'm plugging it into, that is horrible, this y right there. Taking that whole thing, plugging it into that y. So now we distribute and we solve, right? We leave it in parentheses so you remember to distribute, because as you get bigger, it gets crazier, all right? So here we go. We distribute the negative, and we get 2x, negative times a negative is a positive, negative times a positive is a negative, equals 5. And we continue to solve. Now it's just a regular equation, right? So 2x plus x, remember this is a 1x, 2x plus x, let's change colors here, is 3x minus 10 equals 5. Again, if you were to be x, what are you doing to x? That is how you undo that to solve for x. Let me say that again. When you're solving for a variable, if you ever get stuck, like, what do I do first? Do I need to divide first? Do I need to subtract, add first? Like, what do I do? If you pretend like you hopped in that variable, what happens to you? Well, I multiply by 3, and then I'm going to subtract 10. You take that answer and you just do it in reverse to solve for it. So the last thing you said was I subtract 10, so I'm going to add 10, right? In order to get rid of this guy. But what I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. And so there we are, 3x minus, or no, it's just going to be 3x equals, because that goes to 0, 5 plus 10 is 15. And we divide by 3 now. Let's do it in red. We divide by 3 now, divide by 3, and we get x equals 5. Okay, you might think, hey, I'm done. No, you're not. Nice try. Remember, we need to take x equals 5 and plug it into our original equation. The best one to plug it into is the one that's already solved for y. So remember, that one is y equals negative x plus 10. So here we go. That equation was y equals negative x plus 10. Well, we know what x is, right? X is 5, so we're going to plug it in right there using substitution, right? We have negative. Here's our 5. Ooh, that is hideous. Okay, plus 10. So, we have y equals negative 5 plus 10. Negative 5 plus 10 is just y equals 5. So our answer is x equals 5, y equals 5, which can be shown like this. 5 for x, 5 for y. Remember, this is the x, this is the y. That's how you write a coordinate. Because the system of equation technically is saying where these two lines intersect. It is a point. It is an x value and a y value. That is the intersection. The point of intersection is the answer. All right, one more really quickly. This one's a little more challenging. This one is a little bit crazier. I wonder if I can grab this thing. I can't. 2x plus 3y equals 6, and 3x plus 6y equals 12. Here we go. So I have 2x plus 3y equals 6, and 3x plus 6y equals 12. Again, this is not my preference to do substitution here, but let's say you get a question like this and you have to do substitution on it. Here you go. Let me show you how. Choose one of these equations to solve for y or x. It doesn't matter. You get to choose. You know, it will be fun to use a fraction. So I'm going to, you're like, are you crazy? Yes. Yes, I am. So I'm going to use the top equation, and we're going to solve it for x plus 3y equals 6. Here's what it looks like. If we're going to solve for x, right, what is happening to x? Well, if I were to plug myself in x, I'm multiplying by 2, then I'm adding 3y, and that's supposed to be equal to 6. So the first step would be to take away that 3y. So I'm going to subtract 3y. That goes away. I get 2x equals, now, 3y and 6 can't combine. They're not like terms. So it's just negative 3y, positive 6. That's how we write it. Next step would be to divide by 2 to get rid of that, so we can get x equals. But we have to divide the whole thing by 2. And we could do it this way, divide the whole thing by 2. Or sometimes I can get a little confusing. I honestly prefer to divide each individual by 2. This will be nice as you go into like slope-intercept form and things like that. You don't be afraid of fractions. Fractions are very nice. When you get to calculus, you need fractions. So if you got fraction problems, I'm your guy. Let me help you, okay? Here's what it looks like. Don't even solve it, right? 3 over 2. It's negative 3 over 2. Let's live with that. That's okay. We can handle that later. What's 6 divided by 2? 6 divided by 2 is 3. You know, if you don't know it, hey man, let's reduce it. Let's figure out what we can, and let's hang with it right there. All right, so this is what x equals right here. This is what x equals. So now we take what x equals. Let's take this value right here and plug it into x into the other equation. All right, we can't use the same equation. You have to use the other equation. So we're taking this x value and we're going to plug it into our new equation. Here we go. Our new equation is 3 times this guy, right? We're taking this guy, which is negative. I'm going to use the blue so it looks the same. Negative 3 over 2 y plus 3. All right, there we go. And here, let's erase that so that's not super confusing. Okay, thank you. You served a great purpose. And now you no longer serve that purpose. All right, there we go. So we have that plus 6y equals 12. Solve it out. Don't be afraid. We can do this. Here we go. 3, boop, being distributed. When you're multiplying with fractions and you have a whole number, just multiply the numerator. What's 3 times negative 3? That is negative 9 over 2. We're going to leave it in that form. It's quite all right. Plus 3 times 3 is positive 9 plus 6y equals 12. Okay, fantastic. Now we solve for y. So we need to combine like terms, and we need to get rid of this 9. So let's combine like terms first. We have an issue, okay? I recognize it. We have an issue. We have negative 9 over 2 and 6. But here's a great way to solve this issue. If we could get this to be over 2, then we can add them together, right? So negative or 6, to get it over 2, what we do is you multiply 6 times 2 over 2. Why? Why do I do that? Because I'm really multiplying 2 over 2 is just 1. I'm not changing the answer. I'm just representing it in a different way. So I'm multiplying 6 times a fraction, which is 2 over 2, which is actually 1. So I'm not changing the actual answer. I'm just representing it in a different way. And I'll show you, because 6 times 2 is 12 divided by 2. Oh, guess what? 6 is 12 divided by 2. I'm just representing it as 12 divided by 2. All right, here we go. So this is really 9 over 2 y plus 9 plus 12 over 2y equals 12. Now I can combine these, right? And when we're adding fractions together, you leave the denominator, you need the common denominator, you leave the denominator and you add the numerators. Well, what is negative 9 plus 12? That is positive 3. So we have 3 over 2y plus 9 equals 12. And we keep going. If you're still with me, you are a pure champion, math genius. You're going all the way, baby. All the way. Here it is. We subtract 9. Subtract 9. We get 3 over 2y equals 3. Oh, here we go. Last step. To get rid of a fraction on this side, right? It's 3 over 2 times y. If we multiply by the reciprocal, right, these guys will cancel out because this is going to be 6, this is going to be 6, 6 over 6 is just 1, so this cancels out. But what we do to one side, we must do to the other, right? We get y equals, watch this trick. This 3 and this 3 are going to cancel, and we get y equals 2. Drop it in the comments, baby. Okay, here we go. What's our final answer? Well, we know y equals 2. We need to know what x equals. Let's scroll back up. X equals this guy. X equals negative 3 over 2 y plus 3. Well, now that we know what y equals, let's plug her in. Y equals 2, baby. So we're going to plug it in. So we get, let me erase that now. We get x equals negative 3 over 2 times 2 from there, all right, plus 3. Here we go. This 2 and this 2 are going to cancel out, right? I'll show you a different way. I'll show you a different way because I showed you the cancel way, which is the fast way earlier. Let's actually multiply it out. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 over 2. Well, what is negative 6 over 2? That's just negative 3, which is what was sitting here because these 2's cancel out. Wow, what a boss. Nate, you're amazing. Thanks. Negative 3 plus 3, guess what it is? 0. Hero. Here we are. X equals 0. X equals 2, or y equals 2. That is our answer. 0, 2, done. Boom. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all next time.